Okay, so today's discussion is on law of equipartition of energy. Okay, so in the last lecture we have studied about the degrees of freedom. Okay, so the molecules they want to move in different directions, and the possibility of the movement or the freedom for their movement it is indicated by that particular quantity that is called degree of freedom. Okay, so you are going to study in the classical physics in the higher study. Similarly, this law of equipartition of energy it comes under an statistical physics. Okay, so you will have this proof in the higher classes. Today, I am going to use this law to study the ratio of specificity, gamma. Okay, so that is somewhat connected to our topic here. So therefore, directly I am taking the statement of law of equipartition of energy from the statistical physics here. So the law of equipartition of energy says that for a dynamical system in a thermal equilibrium, okay, so there is a system is that it's a dynamical system, and the system is in equilibrium. What type of equilibrium? It is in thermal equilibrium. Okay, if a dynamical system is in thermal equilibrium, then the energy of the system is equally distributed. Therefore, it is called law of equipartition of energy. Okay, so whenever you have given some energy to the system, okay, so from the thermal properties on the thermodynamics, so far we study this quantity that is called heat energy, that is supplying some, we are supplying some heat energy to a system. Okay, system absorbs that heat energy. So system is what? The system is made up of molecules. The molecules are made up of atoms here. You see, therefore, when you supply energy to a system, that system absorbs that heat energy. Okay. Now the system means what? Molecules. That means molecule absorb that energy. The atoms absorb that energy, and finally it goes to the microscopic quantities like atoms and like this. Okay, so you are supplying heat to a macroscopic system like an entire material, bulk material. Then energy is get divided among the molecules, divided among the atoms, and this law says that how this energy is distributed. The energy is distributed like this. So energy of the system is equally distributed. Okay, whatever you supply the energy to a system, now that energy is equally distributed among the various degrees of freedom. Okay, in the last class we have studied about the degrees of freedom. Okay, degrees of freedom depend on the atomicity of the gas. It is for the monatomic gas, it is 3. For diatomic gas, it is 5. For non-linear triatomic gas, you are getting something around 6. So atomicity, okay, decides the degrees of freedom. So whenever you supply energy to a system, the system this divides its energy among the various degrees of freedom. Got it? And it says that the law says that the energy associated with each degree of freedom, okay, it is equally divided between the various degrees of freedom, and the energy associated with 1 degree of freedom is, okay, so 1 degree of freedom is, each degree of freedom is half kT. Are you getting me? Okay, so whenever you supply the energy to a system, now that particular energy is distributed, okay, so distributed between the various degrees of freedom, and in the each degree of freedom you are getting energy as half kT, where K is nothing but, where T is nothing but the temperature of the material, okay, and K is nothing but a very famous constant is called Boltzmann constant. This constant is called a Boltzmann constant here. Boltzmann constant, its value is 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 joule per Kelvin. Okay, so whenever you supply energy to a system, okay, you are supplying energy to a system. Let me assume that you are supplying certain 100 joule of energy to a system. Okay, let me assume that there are 100 molecules are there. Okay, if there are 100 molecules, then that 100 molecules absorb the same amount of, equal amount of energy. Okay, you are supplying the 100 joule and there are 100 molecules. That means what? Each molecule will take 1 joule of energy. Okay, per molecule. Okay, it will take 1 joule of energy. And at the same time, if this molecule has got 3 degrees of freedom, okay, this particular molecule has got 3 degrees of freedom, then how the energy is divided? Very simple, it is divided among 1 by 3 joule plus 1 by 3 joule, 1 by 3 joule like this. Okay, and each degree of freedom, the energy is 1 by 3 joule. So total it becomes 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3. The energy becomes 1 joule. If there are 3 degrees of freedom, then energy is divided among, the energy should be equally divided. Therefore, it is 1 by 3. If there are 5 degrees of freedom, then in each degree of freedom, the energy is 1 by 5 joule. Now, I have taken some data here, but exactly the value of energy in the each degree of freedom is given by half kT. Okay, where K is called, these are the pioneer scientists in the okay, so thermodynamics and statistical physics here. Okay, so they have given the okay, so large contribution to the statistical thermodynamics like Maxwell, and the second main person is an Boltzmann constant. So that value of K is taken as the Boltzmann constant. Okay, so definitely it has got certain proof here in, okay, when you will take in higher studies. Okay, you will have this proof here in statistical physics. Let me take okay, so today let me take this law to get the value of gamma. Okay, so our course of interest is to find the value of gamma. That is nothing but the ratio of specific heat of the gas at constant pressure to the specific heat of gas at constant value. So that is our interest here. Okay, we have to find this ratio Cp by Cv. Okay, so what is Cp and Cv? They are nothing but molar specific heat of the gas at constant pressure and constant volume. Okay, so they are the molar specific heats here. So let me start with here. So let me take one by one. So case one, if I have the monoatomic gas molecule. Okay, so we have an okay, gas which contains monoatomic. Okay, so like if you take neon gas, if you take a argon gas, so they all have a molecule. That molecule contains a single atom. Now such kind of molecules we call it as monoatomic gas molecule. If I take a monoatomic here, okay, if you take a monoatomic gas molecule, let me take with respect to a monoatomic gas here. So what is the degree of freedom for monoatomic gas? In the last class, you studied that the degrees of freedom for a monoatomic gas is 3. Okay, so it can move in 3 possible ways. That is x, y, and z axis. So now that okay, so the freedom for the movement, it is represented by degree of freedom. Therefore, it has got 3 degree of freedom. So degree of freedom for a monoatomic gas is, it is 3. Okay. So therefore, the Maxwell's law of equipartition of energy says that the energy is equally divided, and in each degree of freedom, the energy is half kT. Therefore, the energy corresponding to, so therefore, according to law of equipartition of energy corresponding to, so the energy corresponding to, okay, one monoatomic gas molecule is so one monoatomic gas molecule is energy corresponding to one monoatomic gas molecule is how much it is. If it has for 1 degree of freedom, you are getting here, for 1 degree of freedom your energy is half kT. Okay, so how many degrees of freedom for a monoatomic gas? It has got 3 degree of freedom. Therefore, the energy is equal to multiplied by, okay, 3 multiplied by half kT. That gives me energy corresponding to one monoatomic gas molecule. Okay, so but today's discussion is about gamma. That means we have to find Cp and Cv. So Cv means what? Molar specific heat at constant volume. What is molar specific heat? The heat the amount of energy given to a gas to raise the temperature by 1 Kelvin for an 1 mole of the gas. So you require 1 mole. If I want to find the value of Cv, so I have to take 1 mole of N gas. So this is energy corresponding to one atomic gas molecule. Therefore, the energy corresponding to, next I have to find energy corresponding to 1 mole. 1 mole of a monoatomic gas is. If I take a 1 mole here, okay, if you take a 1 mole, then energy corresponding. The law says that the energy is equally divided. Okay, you have given 100 joule of energy. If there are 100 molecules, then each molecule absorb 1 joule of energy. So therefore, energy is equally divided. Okay, so each molecule get 1 joule of energy. So if the energy of one molecule is 1 joule, then energy corresponding to 100 molecule is very simple, it becomes 100 joule. Okay, are you getting me? Because the energy is equally divided. So therefore, so and in the one molecule, how much it is? The energy is 3 by 2 kT. So you have to find energy corresponding to 1 mole of a gas. So what is the number of gas molecule in 1 mole? You know that it is equal to Avogadro number. It is equal to Avogadro number. Let me write Na. Okay, so what is Avogadro number? So that is nothing but 6.02 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, if you have this much number of gas molecules, okay, if you have 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 number of gas molecules, then we call that quantity as 1 mole. So 1 mole is nothing but the, okay, so this 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 number of the system. Okay, now that particular is called 1 mole. So 1 mole contains Avogadro number of particles. Okay, it contains 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 number of particles. Let me call it as Na. Therefore, so Na 6.02 into 10 raised to 23. So that much is the number of molecules present in a 1 mole. And what is energy corresponding to 1 molecule? That is 3 by 2 kT. Okay, so therefore, now this is the energy corresponding to 1 mole. To define Cv, I require, Cv says that it is specific heat, amount of heat required to raise the 1 mole of an gas. So therefore, I have to take 1 mole here. So we have taken a 1 mole and energy corresponding to 1 mole is Na into 3 by 2 kT. Okay, so now this two product, it gives me a very interesting result here. Okay, if you look at the value of Na and K, now see here, you will get some fine result here. So what is meant by Na? So Na is nothing but, okay, unknown quantity 6.02 into 10 raised to 23, and K is nothing but Boltzmann constant. If Na is multiplied by the Boltzmann constant, now see here, if the Avogadro number and the Boltzmann constant, now look at here, this product gives Na into K gives, so this is Na is 6.02 into 10 raised to 23, and your Boltzmann constant is 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23. You can see here this power is 10 raised to 23, this power is 10 raised to minus 23. So 10 raised to plus 23 minus 23, that becomes 10 raised to 0, that becomes 1 here. So that becomes 6.02 multiplied by 1.38. If you multiply 6.02 and 1.38, you will get as 8.31. Now this is very interesting. Unknown term here, 8.31 is nothing but, it is our universal gas constant. Therefore, that means what? The product of Avogadro number and the Boltzmann constant is nothing but the R. It is nothing but our universal gas constant. Therefore, I can write this term as 3 by 2. Look at here, 3 by 2. In A into K is nothing but R. Therefore, it becomes 3 by 2 RT. Okay, so therefore energy corresponding to 1 mole of the gas is 3 by 2 RT. Okay, so now next I have to go for Cv. So next I have to find molar specific heat at constant volume. So what is the formula for specific heat? So we know that if the dq is the amount of heat energy given to a system, now that dq, the amount of heat energy given to system, won't depend on mass of the system, mass of the substance, specific heat of the system, and the change of temperature. Okay, so dq depend on mass. More is the mass, more you require the heat energy. More is the specific heat of a material, then more amount of heat energy is required. If you want to change its temperature in a very larger quantity, that means you have to supply more amount of heat energy. Therefore, dq is nothing but m into c into delta t. Okay, as it is question of 1 mole, so what is m here? M is a mass, it may be 1 kg, that is become a simple specific heat. If I take 1 mole, then it is called molar specific heat. If I take the value of m as, if I take the value of m as 1, then it becomes dq is equal to 1 into c into delta t. Okay, therefore I can write. So what is the formula for c? Therefore c can be written as dq by dt. So it can be written as dq by dt. So in this particular case, we have taken we have assumed that entire amount of heat energy is given to the change of temperature. There is no question of change of volume here. Therefore, we call this particular specific heat as molar specific heat at constant volume. Okay, there is no change in volume. There is no change in pressure. Okay, so that term remains. So the volume remains constant here. Therefore, I can say that I call this quantity as Cv. That is nothing but dq by dt. Okay, so what is the dq? Dq is nothing but amount of heat energy given to a system. Okay, so that dq is nothing but energy. So sometimes in some books we also take it as u. Okay, so dq or du, whatever may be. So that is u. What is u here? So no, this is u. Now, this is the energy. Okay, energy corresponding to 1 mole of the gas. Oh, we already know the energy here. Okay, so therefore Cu, how to find Cu? It says that it is du by dt. Okay, so Cv, so the molar specific heat can be written as Cv is equal to du by dt. Now it leads to the mathematical term. This is, mathematically we can say that the molar specific heat at constant volume is nothing but what? It is nothing but derivative of energy with respect to temperature. Okay, it is nothing but the derivative of energy with respect to temperature. Okay, so this is nothing but derivative of energy with respect to temperature. Therefore, I can write here as therefore is a derivative of u with respect to temperature. So what is u here? What is energy here? You can see here energy is 3 by 2 RT. Okay, so now this says that is the derivative of 3 by 2 RT with respect to temperature. So you know that the differentiations are not applicable for constant here. Who are the constant here? 3 by 2 is constant, R is universal gas constant. So therefore, you can take 3 by 2 R outside the differentiation. Okay, so therefore now it becomes a derivative of T with respect to T. Okay, you are getting here the derivative of T with respect to T. So derivative of T with respect to T is obviously 1. Therefore, you can say that 3 by 2 R. Okay, so I am getting what is the value of molar specific heat of a gas at constant volume is simply it is 3 by 2 R. Very simple it is. So is equal to how much? We are getting 3 by 2 R. Okay, so to find the value of gamma, I require one more quantity, that is Cp. Okay, so when you find Cp, so to find the Cp, let me use the Mayer's relation. We know that the Cp is greater than Cv. If you take the difference between the molar specific heat of the two gases, Cp minus Cv, you will always equal to, you are getting it as R. Therefore, Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Therefore, you can say that, you can write here Cp is equal to Cv plus R. Molar specific heat at the constant pressure is equal to molar specific heat at constant volume plus R. Okay, so therefore your term becomes Cp is equal to Cv plus R. Your Cv is 3 by 2 R plus R. Okay, so it is 3 by 2 R plus R. So you can say that 3 by 2 R plus R is how much? Is how much it is? If you take 2 by R, so this becomes 5 by 2R. Now this is the value of Cp. Okay, so what is the value of Cp? The value of Cp is 5 by 2R. Okay, and the last step, therefore, what is our intention? Our intention is to find the gamma. That is nothing but the ratio of specific heat of the gas at the constant pressure to the specific heat of the gas at constant volume, Cp by Cv. Therefore, the Cp is 5 by 2R and Cv is 3 by 2R. Okay, you can see here your RR get cancelled, the 2 get cancelled. So I left with, so what is the value of gamma? The value of gamma is nothing but 5 by 3. The value of gamma is 5 by 3. That is equal to, this is 1. Okay, 5, 1. You left with 2. Okay, 3 is 6. the 18. Okay, so 360, 18. Again, you left with this one. So you will get 1.66 like this. Okay, therefore, what is the value of gamma for 1.66 for monoatomic gas? It is 1.66. Okay, so what is the use of this one? Okay, see, obviously we have the large number of applications on the value of gamma is there. So, okay, so now I can give one fine point here. If you know the value of gamma, for example, experimentally we have found for a particular gas, okay, so we have calculated Cp and Cv, and we have taken the ratio of Cp by Cv by experimentally. We have done certain experiments, we have done certain observations. Based on that observations, we have the value of Cp and Cv, and we have taken the ratio of Cp by Cv. If you are getting the ratio as 1.66, then I can say that. Okay, okay. So on a physics point of view, we can say that the gas which is present in the container is a monoatomic. Okay, without seeing it, okay, without having an okay, so other the okay, so chemical reactions there, simply by knowing the value of gamma, okay, so we can say that the gas the present in a container, it is a monoatomic. We can give the atomicity of an molecule if you know the value of gamma. Okay, are you getting me? Okay, so therefore gamma, so gamma for a monoatomic, if I take a monoatomic gas, then the value of gamma is 1.66. Okay, let me go for other things now. So let me go for the second one. The second one is a diatomic. Same procedure I have to use diatomic. So what is the degree of freedom for diatomic gas? The degree of freedom for the diatomic gas is how much? The degree of freedom for the diatomic gas is 5. Okay, degree of freedom for the diatomic gas is 5. Same procedure. Therefore, energy corresponding to one diatomic. So the diatomic gas molecule is, so the diatomic gas molecule has got 5 degrees of freedom. Automatically it becomes 5 into half kT. Okay, next we have to find energy corresponding to 1 mole. What is 1 mole? 1 mole is nothing but 1 mole contains Avogadro number of particles. Therefore, it is Na into 5 by 2 kT. Okay, Na into 5 by 2 kT. So in that, so Na into K, that becomes an gas constant. Therefore, you can write 5 by 2 RT. Okay, this is 5 by 2 RT. Then the ratio, okay, what is the Cp and Cv? You can say that the Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Okay, the Cp minus Cv is equal to R here. Okay, so next we have to find Cv. Cv is nothing but du by dt. Therefore, it is 5 by 2 R RT. You have to take the 5 outside. Okay, 5 outside. Therefore, it becomes 5 by 2 into R. Derivative of d with respect to t is 1. Therefore, it becomes 5 by 2 R. Okay, so this becomes 5 by 2 R. So this Cv becomes 5 by 2 R. How will you going to find Cp? By using the Mayer's relation. The Mayer's relation says that Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Therefore, Cp is equal to Cv plus R. Therefore, the Cp is equal to what? 5 by 2 R plus R. That becomes 5 by 2 plus R. It becomes 7 by 2 R. Therefore, Cp is equal to 7 by 2 R. Okay, so it's the same manner. So now, what is the Cp by Cv ratio? So the Cp by Cv ratio is given by, so Cp is your 7 by 2R. Okay, and Cv is 5 by 2R. You can see that this RR 2 to get cancelled. So therefore, what is the value of gamma for diatomic gas? It is 7 by 5. Okay, 7 by 5, and the value of 7 by 5 is, so you can have 1 here. Okay, 5 1, we're left with 2. Okay, so 2 means around is 40. Okay, 5 for the 20. Clearly it is correct. So it is, the value of gamma is, so for diatomic gas it is 1.4. The value of gamma for diatomic gas is 1.4. Okay, very easy. Therefore, by using the law of equipartition of energy, we can easily find the ratio of specific heat. Okay, let me take a third type, that is, okay, third one, that is triatomic. Okay, triatomic. Now if it's a triatomic, if it's linear, then degrees of freedom is 5. Again you will getting a same value for gamma. If I take the non-linear, then you will have 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, so therefore energy corresponding to, so this time triatomic gas. So one triatomic gas molecule is, how much it is? 6. Okay, so this is 6 half kT. Now this time it becomes very simple. It becomes what? So this is 6 half kT means it becomes 3 kT. Okay, so next is energy corresponding to 1 mole of the gas. 1 mole of the gas means you have to multiply it by Avogadro number. Okay, so Na into 3 kT. So this becomes what? 3 RT. Okay, next is, so Cv, the molar specific at the constant volume is given by the derivative of 3RT with respect to T. So therefore this becomes, so 3R is constant, therefore the derivative of T with respect to T is 3R. Okay, next is the Cp and Cv. Okay, Cp minus Cv is equal to R, therefore Cp is equal to Cv plus R, therefore 3R plus R, you will get 4R. Okay, you will have the 4R, therefore the value of Cp and Cv for triatomic gas is, Cv is 3R, Cp is equal to 4R. Therefore the value of gamma is given by, so therefore the value of gamma is Cp by Cv is, okay, so this is 4R by 3R, so R get cancelled, so this is 4 by 3, that is nothing but 1 point into, okay, 3 1, so you left with 1 year, that means it's something around 3 times 9, so this is recurring 1.333, something like this. Is it correct? Okay, 4 by 3, it is 1.33. Therefore for a triatomic, if you take a triatomic gas, then the value of gamma is given by 1.33. Okay, so you can easily find the value of gamma by using the law of equipartition of energy. And what is the physical significance of gamma? Once you know the value of gamma, then you can find the atomicity, that is the number of atoms present in a molecule. Okay, so let me stop here. Okay, so in the next class we'll study, okay, so the mean free path. Okay, now that is in kinetic theory of gases, the molecular movement, the gas molecular movement is random, but for a given gas, now this particular term, that mean free path, it remains constant. Okay, let me study in the